She's in love with a man that she met down on Bleecker and 6th.
Alright, hey guys, I'm Stephanie from Mod City, and I'm here at the space in Evanston with Jesse Ruben. And you have a show tonight here with
I do.
Caitlin Crosby. This is your second one now, and how many months have you? When was the last time we played here?
Oh, I think I played here back in April or May, and then I played here. This is my third or fourth time here. I love it here.
Oh, this is a really cool room.
Oh yeah, this is the coolest green room ever.
Like lit here.
I do actually. They don't tell you that. The artists actually live.
The bathroom looks like somebody's.
Yeah, bathroom. The recording studios have bed. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, and we're on this very low.
Yeah, this is my living room actually.
Just chilling like a crib.
Yeah, I'm watching Breaking Bad tonight here. So.
Very fun. All right. Well, you're from Philadelphia, and you come from a musical background. Your family
Yeah.
are musicians as well. Can you tell us, like, is that really where you got your start then?
Yeah, I mean, I always had like a pretty strong relationship with music. I grew up like around very talented musical people, and then it was terrible because I wasn't good at anything. Like, you know, they would have like these big jam sessions at my house, and I couldn't sit in on anything, you know. And so then, I took piano lessons for a while, and then my dad is an electric guitar player, and so the idea was that he'd buy me this cheap acoustic, and I would learn all the basics. And then I'd switch to the electric, and then we'd like shred solos in front of thousands of people, you know.
Yeah.
And then the day that I got the acoustic guitar, it was like I sat down with it, and I remember thinking like, oh, now my life makes sense, right? Like it was the first time I ever had that thought before. And I remember talking to my dad that night and being like, yeah, I probably don't need the electric. I think I'm just gonna write songs. And he was like, why? And I was like, I don't know, because I have to, I think. So that was really sort of how that started.
Well, then you ended up going to Berkeley.
I did. 9-10 months later, I applied to go to music school. Yeah, that was a really stupid idea. It was really stressful.
Well, was it? I was going to say, was it more intimidating and overwhelming, or was it inspiring to feed off of others?
It was eventually inspiring. The first year was brutal because you just do your instrument at least that first semester. So I took all guitar classes, no writing classes, all guitar classes. And I was with kids that had been playing like 15, 20 years.
Yeah. And
I'd been playing for less than a year. So it was awful. I mean, I was like having panic attacks and stuff. And then when I got further into my college career, and then I was in writing classes and stuff that I was much more interested in, and then it sort of evened out. But
Yeah.
the first little while was really intense, and then it was amazing because I just like latched on to all my best friends were also my favorite songwriters, and they still are to this day. Like if I meet somebody and they write good songs and they're really cool, like we're probably gonna be best friends, you know. So that's just how it works. Yeah.
Well, then you released your first album in 2008. Was that right at the closing of school, or did you wait until after you graduated?
I released it halfway through my senior year.
Okay.
And it was really amazing because it was awesome. I'd never made an album before.
Okay.
Making the album itself was stressful. But what was great about it was I didn't have enough money to make it. And this was like years before Kickstarter was a thing.
Yeah.
And like 6 of my best friends logged into my Facebook page, created a PayPal page or something, and asked for donations for my first record, and they presented me, and I still have it with a 6-foot check for $2,500 on my 21st birthday. And that was how I financed that record.
Pretty killer 21st birthday.
It was awesome. I also went to Atlantic City.
It's a laughter ever.
It was so awesome. Yeah, no, it was amazing, and that was my first record.
Well, then there was a kind of a 2-year gap between the ones that matter.
Yeah.
Was that just a touring break, or were you just really wanting to kind of discover what was next, and did you take any or make any changes to your sound at all during that time?
I'm distracted because she's on the phone. Yeah, I waited a long time. I always wait a long time because I released Aim for Honesty, and then I toured a lot, and then I was like writing all these songs, and I signed my first deal, and I spent like Aim for Honesty we made in a week. The ones that matter was like 9 months, every day, all day, you know. I mean, and it took like we had like 60. I had like 62, 63 songs that we narrowed down to 13. I spent all of my money. I spent every dime I had on it, in my checking account, my savings account, everything. When I walked on stage for this album release show, I had a negative balance in my bank account. But I just wanted to, I wanted to make my first big budget record, and I really thought like that was going to be the album. I remember finishing that record and being like, oh, this is the album that's going to get me everything I've ever wanted, you know? And it didn't work out that way. But but the response was amazing, and yeah, it was a great experience. I'm super proud of that album.
It's definitely a stepping stone, you know?
Sure.
You have to go through that to get to...
Yeah, I mean, and you can tell too, I sound like a little kid on the first record, and it's all those songs are about me, and then in the second one, like half of them are about me. And now I like very rarely write about myself. I just feel like there's more interesting things. Yeah.
Well then, Thoughts I Never Had Before, you actually split up into 2 EPs. What was kind of the thinking behind that? Or?
No, so the reason I wanted to release two EPs was because, well, for years I hated the idea of releasing an EP, because I was like, Paul Simon never released an EP. So I wanted to do it just for the sake of doing it, you know. And also, after doing The Ones That Matter and having this huge production, I went the exact opposite way. I booked a day in a studio with one of my really good friends behind the board, and I recorded all those songs live. Recorded 14 songs, picked 11 of them, split them up. Because I was just, I just wanted to, I play, most of my shows are solo, and so I wanted to represent that on record. And I didn't have $40,000
Another good reason.
to make the full length. But yeah, and so now the next one will probably be sort of in between the two, in between the solo acoustic and the full lush thing.
Do you have a tentative date for that one?
No, I haven't started. I had to put everything on hold this year. I got Lyme disease this year. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I know. Nobody knows that. This is an exclusive.
I
got Lyme disease. I've been like really sick for almost a year, so I had to like push everything back. I didn't tour for a really long time. Just dealing with that has been really interesting. So I thought I was gonna make the record like November, December. I'm probably gonna push it back to February, March for like a summer release. But I don't know. I haven't written all the songs yet for it, which is scary and also exciting.
Yeah. Well, you've had a lot of like success with music being in TV shows, and what was that like? Did you ever like were you watching a show once and just happened to see?
No, you always know. Well, you almost
need to watch this episode.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, you almost always know ahead of time. Somebody sent me a link actually to like a French soap opera that had one of my songs in it, and that was crazy. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, usually you know ahead of time because you have to like sign off on the deal, which obviously you always do. And sometimes it's really great. When I was on an episode of Degrassi, which is like this hilarious show.
I remember it.
But not only did they play the song, but at the end of the episode, they were like, songs from this episode by, and then boom, they put the album cover on the screen.
That's great.
That was amazing.
That is really
And I had a song on One Tree Hill that did really well. I mean, it's really awesome. I would love to do more of it. It's a great way for a lot of people to hear you very quickly.
Yeah.
I almost got a Target commercial last year. I was second. That would have been cool.
That's better. Well, I think you're closer.
Yeah.
Next time you're like, oh, yeah, we're going.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Well, let's go briefly into the We Can and
Yeah.
I Can. What would you call
Initiative.
it? Initiative. Okay,
Sure.
that's probably the best way.
Yeah.
So your single We Can, a teacher in Canada
Yeah.
heard about it and thought it was great for their I Can initiative, and it's kind of exploded now.
Yeah, it's been this really organic, wonderful, crazy. I never thought I would play for elementary school kids. I never thought that would ever be a thing.
I have a video. Okay.
Yeah, and then, so they just, you know, I was like, I got a message from this teacher, and it was just like thanking me, and she sent me a video that the staff at the school made that was like all their I Can projects. All these teachers like, I can help our students, you know, get up to their reading level and whatever it was. And it was amazing. And then at the bottom of the message, it was like, by the way, would you ever want to visit us? And I was like, yes. And I had no idea how it was going to go, and I flew out there for the first time and ended up playing at like 5 schools, and I did all these huge concerts. Like the last concert I played there, we had like 650 people, which is the biggest show I've ever headlined in my life.
In Canada, right?
And it was in Canada. It was the first time I'd ever been there. And then I went back 5 months later, and I got to see the progress that the students had made. And it was so beautiful to see. I mean, you had like these 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds doing some incredible things. A lot of things that are like really simple no-brainers that you just don't even think of.
Yeah.
There was like one kid who was really psyched about energy conservation, so he worked it out with all the schools in the district that they would turn off power for an hour once a week, and it was saving them thousands of dollars. And then there were like these 3 girls that focused on suicide prevention. So they started the Happy Club every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it started with like 5 kids, and by the end of the year it was like 100 kids, and they meet during lunch and like talk about their problems with older students, and they're graduating, so now they're like passing it to other kids, and it would live on without them, and it was just like, it's the most
Big
amazing stuff. So then we made that video with all the kids and holding up their science projects and stuff, and a lot of teachers saw it, and they were like, I don't know what that is, but I want that. So now, so this school year we have like, I think like 7 or 8 schools that have started doing their own I Can initiatives, and I'm sort of like, I just sort of like fell into this thing, and now I'm trying to like streamline it and create a place where they can go, so that like teachers and educators and community leaders can just go here, and there's sort of like a loose template for what they can do and examples, and I'm doing a bunch of school visits in October, elementary and middle schools, which is going to be awesome. And it's just, it was very unexpected, but it was also to have a vision for a song and to see it lived out like that so quickly in such a big scale.
Really rewarding.
Yeah, it was really, really great.
Well, and I'm sure you're been such an influence too on the younger kids, and
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that
we need influences like that.
Yeah,
Positive.
that community especially is like a really amazing place. Not that it wasn't before, but it sort of like shifted the way they view their community, and it just, when you tell an 8-year-old that they can do anything, they believe you. Whereas if you tell an adult, they're like, yeah, no, job, work, money, problems, you know. But if you tell an 8, like if I had known that when I was 8, I didn't learn that I could have an impact on people until I was much older. And so to see that when they're much younger, and they had like every student write me a letter, it's like amazing, you know. It's just,
bad day, you just pull that thing out.
that's exactly, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, now you're on this tour, the weekend tour. You have a few more dates here throughout October, and then you'll be doing the school visits. And you kind of take the winter off, and then potentially start the album.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna write a bunch of songs. The holiday time's always slow. There's not a lot of touring in November, December, so I'll probably do a couple little one-offs, and then just try to focus on. I think I'm 2 songs short of the album that I want to make. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But also, I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, you have to release stuff all the time. I'm not like that, for better or worse. But yeah, we'll see. I'm in a pretty interesting place right now.
Yeah, it's just go with the flow. Well, one thing I asked before we get to the fun questions here is the marathons you're running. Is it the Christopher and
Dana Reeve, yeah.
What is that foundation?
So Christopher Reeve, it's so funny because like your parents, all our parents know him. Christopher Reeve used to play Superman on TV.
Oh, okay, yes, okay.
And he was like, he got into a horseback riding accident and broke his neck, and he immediately became the most famous person ever to have a spinal cord injury. So he and his wife ended up really leading the way in terms of financing and trying to like focus research and quality of life for people with spinal cord injury and their families. So one of my best friends 8 years ago broke his neck, and he had reached out to them, and I wrote a song for him on my first album. It's called Song for Zach, and I just sent it to them. You know, I was like, hey, here's my friend Zach. I have a song for him. I thought maybe it could help some people, and they responded right away. And I've been working with them ever since. And I've played a bunch of their fundraisers, and I'm on what's called the Champions Committee for the Reeve Foundation, where we plan fundraising events, and it's just really great because it gives me something else to focus on besides, you know, like how many songs did I sell on iTunes today, which in the grand scheme of the world is a really small problem. But if the work that I do could fast forward that cure even 10 minutes, that feels like a good way to spend time, you know. So I don't know if I'm going to do the marathon this year. I don't know if I'm going to be healthy enough.
Yeah.
But I have actually 2 of the teachers from Comox Valley that started the We Can project are flying to New York to run the marathon for the Reeve Foundation. It's really amazing. Running was never a part of my life before all this, and it's so awesome that I've had like 25 or 30 people run their first marathons. My twin sister and I crossed the finish line together. We've raised like $150,000 for different charities, and it's really become this awesome thing because people talk to me about running all the time. You know,
it's another way to connect.
Yeah, and I have like We Can like T-shirts and bracelets and necklaces, and I just had a girl run her an ultra marathon wearing her We Can bracelets, 50 miles. You know, and I've had people wear the ring. You know, when I had this this girl like write to me and tell me that she asked out this guy while she was wearing a ring. You know, it's just great to inspire people to do those things. You know.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, great. Good
We got it.
questions. I'm nervous now. These are gonna be scary.
There's some cheesy ones. There's some fun ones. I'll let you.
All right.
We do 3.
3. Okay. It's like fortunes. If you were to go bowling with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be? I'm gonna say Bob Dylan, circa 1967, George Carlin, and Paul Simon. Although I don't know if Paul Simon and Bob Dylan. I don't know, but anyway, I don't really like bowling. I suck at bowling, but I think it would be super fun, and I would get super competitive.
Yes, Bob Dylan would be. I just would love to just meet him once.
Yeah.
Just like I don't know, I'm such a Bob Dylan nerd back in that day when he was just so different of a person.
Yeah, he was psycho.
It
It was amazing. You can't do that now. You would be like considered so weird. I wish I could do that. If you had the opportunity to live 1 year of your life over again, which year would you choose? For a bad reason or a good reason?
You can pick. Or if you need help, I'll tell you.
Yeah, what is
For
it?
a good reason.
For a good reason.
It'll be positive.
Oh man, my first year, 2010, what was it? April of 2010 to April of 2011. My first year in New York was pretty cool. It was like really exciting and scary and fun, and yeah, it was just a blast.
You're still there.
Yeah, I still live in New York. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that artsy? I feel like that's so developing now in the music.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, people have a really negative connotation towards hipsters, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sort of intimidated because I don't have any tattoos and I dress like a normal person. And there are definitely some people that dress weird and have tattoos and piercings.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like it's just like creative people just doing their thing. You know, there's a lot of well, they're just like kids whose parents are paying for their apartments, and they're like most of it is not that. Most of it is just like good people who are really creative, who gravitated towards this one area. And you have like this amazing artistic creative community. Yeah, it's just like awesome people. My whole neighborhood is like, I just loved it. I just love those people. It's a shame that people like sort of like turn their nose down at them when you have like, I think like people that just like work for a ton of money or way because they're way less happy. So yeah.
We'll let you pick one last one.
You pick it.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mix it all up. They'll probably be like the cheesy.
Did you write these questions?
Some of them I did. Some of them I still don't know.
Nice. If you could play on any major league sports team, what team would it be? I want to say a Philadelphia team, but all my teams are so bad right now. Probably. I mean, I'd have to say the Sixers. Basketball's my favorite sport. We're going to be really bad this year, but hopefully we'll do okay in the draft. But yeah, basketball's my favorite sport. I love watching it, and I'm from Philly, so I have to say the Sixers.
Well, do you have anything else you want to share with our readers/watchers?
Come see us on tour. If you live on the western part of the United States, we're going to be in Minneapolis, Omaha, Denver, San Francisco, LA.